Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? My name is Brandon. Welcome to my channel, Scourge of Vinyl. Today, this is going to be another installment of Check This Out, where I'm going to be talking about some records that I've got in here recently that I feel like are worth talking about and that you guys should go ahead and check out. Before I get into what I've got here, I've got a tape, 2 CDs, and 5 records, mostly 2019 stuff. I mentioned a little while back in one of my previous videos that I was going to think about doing a Cannibal Corpse collection video. Many of you keep asking me if I'm still going to be doing it or where it is, and yes, I will be doing one. It's going to be comprised of multiple videos so that I don't end up with like a 2 hour long video. When I have the time, when I'm able to get everything together, I'm going to go ahead and start making those videos. So keep an eye out for that. Until then, let's talk about some new shit. Up first is the cassette here from Magic Circle. This is Departed Souls, their third full length album, released by 20 Bucks Spin. Magic Circle, if you're not familiar, band from Massachusetts, traditional heavy metal and doom. If you like stuff like Candlemass, Trouble, Black Sabbath, Pagan Altar, you're gonna like Magic Circle. Their vocalist Brendan Radigan actually does vocals for Pagan Altar now. I loved Journey Blind. Their prior full length came out in 2015, if I remember correctly. One of my favorite traditional heavy doom albums fucking ever. Um, really set the bar high. I absolutely love that album. So, Departed Souls had a lot to live up to, big shoes to fill. This is no Journey Blind in my eyes, but it is still a fantastic album. Songs like the opening track, the title track, Departed Souls, that one gets stuck in my head all the time. I Found My Way to Die, another fantastic song. A Day Will Dawn Without Nightmares, a little bit of a different song for Magic Circle. Very slow, very retro sounding. Initially, I read it was supposed to be just an interlude, an instrumental track. They fleshed it out a little bit, made it an entire track on its own. 8 tracks here. Great American retro styled heavy doom. This is their most retro sounding album. It's got a very 70s kind of vibe to it. I like it a lot. Magic Circle with Departed Souls. Up next, this is Festerday with Italien. I gotta say, I haven't seen really anyone talking about this album, and I think that's a shame that it's so overlooked because it's a really, really solid album. It's not going to top any year-end lists or anything, but I think that it's absolutely worth giving a listen. Festerday, obviously named after a Carcass song, and the Carcass vibes are very strong on this one. So if you like Carcass, if you like Exhumed, this band is from Finland, so if you like other Finnish bands like Pertinence, Abhorrence, Demolik, you're going to like this. This is a band that's been around for a long time as well. They released a couple of demos back in the early 90s, 91 and 92, and then disbanded, and a lot of their members went on to form different bands, very different sounding bands. And then they got back together recently, 2013, released this full-length album here in 2019 on Season of Mist. It's 15 tracks of grinding death metal. A lot of great shit on here. The vocals are really disgusting, probably the highlight of this record for me. But it's just a great overall death metal record, and I don't see why no one is talking about it. It came out at the very beginning of January, so maybe it just got lost in the shuffle of everyone's year-end lists from 2018. But Festerday with Italien, definitely worth giving a listen. And I don't really do reviews here on this channel. I just do like these kind of things where I'll touch on an album just a little bit to give you an idea of what it sounds like and if you might be interested to it. But this one I'm going to talk about a little bit just because I have a lot that I want to say about it. And this is Ultimas with Something Wicked Marches In. For those of you who don't know, Ultimas is, for all intents and purposes, a supergroup comprised of David Vincent on bass and vocals from Morbid Angel fame, Flo Meunier of Cryptopsy fame, the drummer, and then Rune Eriksson, most notably from Mayhem and Aura Noir. When I heard about this project, I had very, very low expectations. David Vincent, since recording an absolutely abysmal Morbid Angel record, went on to do country music and I Am Morbid. To me, his legacy was tarnished a little bit, and when I heard that he was going to be fronting this new band, I wasn't at all excited about it. I didn't even plan on checking this out until I saw it pop up a little bit on social media, people talking about it, people saying good things about it. So, out of morbid curiosity, I decided to go ahead and pick this up, and I'm really glad that I did, actually, because it's a very good album. It's not even just a solid album in my opinion. It's a very good album, and the thing that makes it a good album, in my opinion, is you hear a little bit of everything from the three guys who created this album. David Vincent sounds exactly like he did on Domination from Morbid Angel. Rune Eriksson, you get that signature riffing from the Mayhem albums like Chimera and Ordo Ad Chaos. And, of course, Flo Meunier's drumming, made famous on Cryptopsy albums, is the highlight of this record for me. His drum performance is nothing short of incredible. I will say the lyrics suffer a little bit, especially on tracks like Monolilith and Diabolus Est Sanguis. But that I can overlook a little bit because the vocals are strong, the riffs are great, the drumming is incredible. The production, it's a very polished sounding record, it's a very modern sounding record. It's death metal with that hint of black metal that you get from Rune Eriksson's guitar riffs. This came out on Season of Mist, and I read a few interviews, saw some online, that unlike most supergroups, this is not going to be a one-off. This is not going to be the only album that we see from Ultimas. They want to continue writing, they want to continue recording, they want to tour, they want to play shows. So now that I've had a taste, now that I know what is in store for Ultimas, I'm eager to hear more, and I will be keeping an eye and an ear out. Tracks like Something Wicked Marches In, Prevalidas, Truth and Consequence, Last One's Alive When Nothing, standouts for me. And I think that the last thing that I'm going to say about this album is that a lot of these international supergroups, I mean, David Vincent lives in Texas now, Rune Eriksson lives in Europe, Flo Meunier lives in Canada. A lot of those kinds of projects rely on modern technology, file sharing. Rarely do these bands get together and write, but they all converged, made the travel to David Vincent's place in Texas, wrote together, recorded together. And I think that extra effort of actually doing it the old school way and being together and putting your minds together in person really helped the collaborative process, the writing process, and I think it shows here on this album. Here with Ultimas, Something Wicked Marches In, and I'm going to shut up about that now. Now on to some records. Heavy black metal influence here from 2019 here in this update. This is Ringar with Under Pale Moon. This was released by Iron Bonehead Records in 2019. It's 4 tracks, and this was initially intended to be the very earliest material from the band Chaos Moon, Esoterica from Chaos Moon, Scaff, and a whole bunch of other projects. This got demoed and sent out to some labels, I think, and then just kind of shelved and just collected dust. Until now, over a decade later, he recruited a Swedish vocalist whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, but he did vocals on the latest Azel Assassin EP. He did vocals on the Moose Mahu album, Reign of the Odious, which I fucking adore. And his vocals appear on this. As far as I know, this material was re-recorded. It sounds great. It's atmospheric, black metal, shades of In the Night Side Eclipse, Emperor in there, Chaos Moon, if you're familiar with that band. You're going to like Ringar with Under Pale Moon. This is great atmospheric black metal, very melancholic, very somber. Really good stuff. Worth giving a listen, if you ask me. Another black metal album from 2019, my favorite black metal album of the year so far. Sinmara. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the title of this record, but they are an Icelandic black metal band. This is their second full-length album. 4 years ago, they released the critically acclaimed album, Aphotic Womb. I thought that was a good album, and I think that this album surpasses that album in every way imaginable. The riffs are just astounding. The drum work, the drum performance on this album is incredible. The vocals are just harrowing, and just the shrieking and howling really cuts to the core. And I think that Sinmara have crafted just an incredibly well-written, well-constructed, well-put-together album. And when I take into consideration what makes an album great, most anyone can pick up a guitar, write a few riffs, put it over drums and vocals and record it. What I find makes a great album is superior musicianship, superior song crafting. These songs really flow very well. They're extremely well written, and it shows here on this album. This was released by Van Records. If you're familiar with Sinmara, you know what to expect. If you're familiar with other Icelandic acts like Svarti Dowdy, Zrine, Wormlust, Miss Pyraming, you're going to love Sinmara. I know I'm not alone when I say that this is the top black metal record of the year so far. Absolutely incredible. And then another favorite so far as black metal in 2019 goes. Departure Chandelier. This is Antichrist Rise to Power, released by Nuclear War Now Productions. This is another one of those international groups featuring members from Canada and New York. Members of Ashpool and Akitsa are involved in this project. It was recorded in 2010, now seeing the light of day 9 years later. This is a concept album about Napoleon Bonaparte's. Here you see on the back, Napoleonic War black metal. A very interesting concept for a black metal album. Can't say that I've ever heard a theme or a concept album based around Napoleon, but here we are. The lyrics are a good read. The music, it's not your traditional heavy tremolo riff, heavy blast beats. There's actually some great quality riffage going on here. The drums are very varied. It's got a little bit of, even some punk kind of drum styling on here. A lot of work on the toms. It's a unique listen. I feel like I haven't heard many albums recently that sound like Departure Chandelier. If you're familiar with Akitsa, maybe that's the closest thing that you'll find to Departure Chandelier. Of course, they released a 7-inch last year, maybe 2 years ago, with Blood Tyrant. That got a lot of acclaim, and this full length just does not disappoint. It's fucking amazing. Beautiful artwork on this one, really catches your eye. This and the new Sinmara album have just been non-stop on my turntable recently, as well as this next one. This is Cantique Lepreux with Paysage Polaris. This was released by Eisenwald. And the way I came across this album is just one of those classic, know nothing about the project, just blindly buy it and fall in love with it. I was at the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. Eisenwald had a booth set up. I went over to buy a few patches, and as I was waiting for them to grab the patches, I was looking through the CDs and stumbled across this album on CD, Cantique Lepreux. Knew nothing about it. Took a shot in the dark. Had some extra spending money on it, and maybe one of the best purchases I've ever blindly made. I hadn't heard a single note from this band. Knew nothing about them. I rarely do that anymore because so often I'm either let down or just not impressed. And, my collection, with the size that it is, I don't really need to add any filler. I try and just buy the stuff that I know that I love. But this is an album that I really have just fallen in love with. Non-stop on my turntable lately. Quebecois fucking black metal, if you like that. Black metal from Montreal, Quebec, fucking Fortress, Monarch, shit like that. You're gonna love Cantique Lepreux. Atmospheric black metal. Amazing stuff. I love this record. And, it's a cool story, I feel like, how you just, stumble upon things like that sometimes. And the last record that I'm going to talk about is a reissue from 2019 from Relapse Records, Incantation, Upon the Throne of Apocalypse. This is the rough mix recordings from which would eventually be the album, Mortal Throne of Nazarene. It's the same songs, just, rough demo mixes, different track listing, but for all intents and purposes, the same album. And the first two Incantation albums, Onward to Golgotha and Mortal Throne of Nazarene, with Craig Pillard on vocals, to me are absolutely untouchable. Some of the best death metal records ever recorded. And so to have a demo recording of one of those albums, fucking sign me up. I feel like I don't need to say too much about this album. If you know Mortal Throne of Nazarene, you know exactly what's on here. Just classic stuff. Blissful Blood Shower, The Ibex Moon, Essence Ablaze, Emaciated Holy Figure. This is just the shit. Love me some Incantation. So that's it. That's all I have to show for this video. Like I said, the Cannibal Corpse collection videos are a-coming. Just whenever I have the time to start getting them together, it will happen. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. As always, thank you for sticking around watching this video. Thank you for continuing to like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. And until the next time, take care.